teacher speaks, and the mind believes. There is a moment when a person sits in a hall among hundreds of others. The lights are dim, music is playing, a teacher walks onto the stage, people applaud. Some already have tears in their eyes before the first word is spoken, and then the teacher begins. The words are strong, the sentence is precise, the pause is dramatic, the story's personal. Everything fits together, and the listener's mind begins to do what it does best: search for patterns, connect dots, create meaning. And this is where the real mystery begins. The mind loves coherence. When someone speaks confidently, smoothly, with emotional intensity, our nervous system reads it as safety and authority. Tone, rhythm, certainty, all of it creates a biological impression. This person knows. And when we hear a story that resembles our own, the centers of empathy activate. Suddenly, we do not feel alone. Suddenly, we feel understood, and the mind stores that feeling as evidence of truth. But here is the subtle distinction. Just because something resonates does not mean it is universal truth. It means it touched our own experience. That is the difference between resonance and reality. Some teachers have spent long years observing their own minds. They have gone through pain, doubt, darkness. They focused inwards so intensely that they created an internal map. Imagine someone studying themselves for 20 years. 20 years of observation, confusion, silence, inner battles, and then they begin describing that map. When you listen to such a person, you feel depth, because it is not borrowed knowledge, it is lived experience, and the mind can sense the difference between theory and embodiment. But here is another subtle truth. What that person discovered is their map, not the entire territory of reality. When someone studies their own mind for that long, they may become an expert in their inner world, not automatically in the whole universe. Wisdom lies in knowing that distinction. When someone stands on a stage and speaks calmly, firmly, without visible doubt, something archetypal activates in many people. The image of the guide, the protector, the wise parent. The mind fills in the rest. They know. They've already walked where I haven't. They can take me where I'm afraid to go alone. This is where projection begins. Not because the teacher necessarily intends manipulation, but because the mind naturally seeks someone who reduces uncertainty. Uncertainty is uncomfortable for the nervous system. Clarity feels soothing. Sometimes we believe not because we examined something deeply, but because we felt relief. Some teachers use techniques that work. Music, group dynamics, repetition, strong declarations, urgency. These elements shift states of consciousness. They elevate dopamine, adrenaline, oxytocin. In a group setting, emotion amplifies. And when emotion rises, critical thinking does not disappear, but it moves slightly into the background. That is why something can feel like revelation in the moment, and a week later feel more ordinary. Not because it was false, but because the state in which we received it was intensified. Here is the most important sentence in this entire chapter. What a teacher activates in us was already there. They did not create it. They named it. When someone says a sentence that changes our life, it is often because our mind had already been collecting pieces of that insight for years. That sentence was simply the final piece of the puzzle, yet we tend to assign the power to the one who spoke it. And so the illusion arises that the power is outside us. It is not. A teacher is a mirror. A mirror does not contain light, it reflects. True spiritual maturity does not begin with blind belief or cynical rejection. It begins with discernment. Take what resonates, leave what manipulates. Notice where inspiration ends and pressure begins. Feel when words open you and when they close you. Not everyone who speaks confidently is awakened, and not everyone who is quiet is deep. Discernment is not attack, it is self-awareness. The mind connects information based on its own history. What you have lived, read, suffered, contemplated, all of it forms an internal structure. When you then hear a teacher speaking about themes you have been exploring for years, a thought may arise. They are saying what I already feel, not because they implanted it in you, but because you were ready. Real transformation never truly moves from outside to inside. It unfolds from inside outward. A catalyst accelerates a reaction, but it is not the substance itself. That is what a teacher should be. If someone leads you into greater dependence on them, something is out of balance. If they lead you toward greater independence, toward your own silence and observation, there is clarity. The highest form of teaching gradually makes you less dependent on the teacher. After every seminar, every video, every powerful talk, there is a simple test. Sit in silence. No music, no crowd, no teacher's voice, just you. If the insight remains steady in silence, it is yours. If it needs constant reinforcement from outside, it has not yet settled within you. Silence is where illusions fade and what is real remains. Gurus are neither saviors nor villains as a category. They are human beings, some deeply self-explored, some highly skilled in influence, some both. The mind is not weak for believing. It is designed to search for meaning and safety. But awareness has one more capacity. It can observe the believing itself. And when you can observe your own excitement, devotion, resistance, or doubt, you are no longer carried away by the story. That is where freedom begins. Not in believing someone, not in rejecting everything, but in knowing what is happening within you. And from that place, you no longer need a stage, only clarity.